Well, good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday and welcome to Market of the Moment with Fidelity National Title. I'm Sharon, the sales manager for Fidelity, posing today as Mr. Don Tchaikovsky. Don thought it'd be fun to go to a pierogi fest this weekend, and we said, okay, great, as long as you bring some home. But he told me they don't travel well. So I don't know how many of you know what pierogies are. I learned a lot about pierogies this week. I'm not familiar with them. I thought they were just, basically potato ones, but apparently sauerkraut and all kinds of different flavors are actually the better ones. So he did show me some pictures, so I'm sure he'll show more when he gets back, and it'll be very entertaining. So Don, we hope you have a wonderful trip, safe travels, and enjoy yourself. But very excited to be here with this wonderful group of ladies today. We are having a ladies' day, or afternoon here, so we're very excited. I'm going to make some introductions. We are joined today by Fidelity's Director of Marketing, Miss Dena Jones. Dena, give everybody a wave here. And Dena is the master of getting us online today, which is a task in itself. And appreciate her being here and helping to navigate today's Market of the Moment, as well as being a resource probably with some questions maybe throughout the day here or morning as well. Oh, I don't know what that was, but okay. All right. So we also are joined here today by Mindy Jones. Mindy is the owner of the Amy Jones Group at Keller Williams and is here every week with us. We'll be definitely doing her market update this afternoon, talking about inventory. We've had a lot of really interesting inventory stories over the last couple weeks, definitely seeing inventory moving up. So it'll be interesting to see what Mindy has to tell us today and what's been going on in the last week. We are also joined, and Mindy, I'm going to circle back around with you in just a moment as well on your team here. But I also am joined, of course, by our partner, our mortgage partner in crime here, Miss Amber Kovarik with Guild Mortgage. And Amber always comes every week with just amazing updates of what's going on with our free money, which technically is still free money until it gets up to some higher percentages. We are not changing that verbiage because it's still absolutely free money. I mean, if you can get something in the threes, in history of life, no one's ever probably seen that. So Amber, thank you for being here. Excited to hear your update later as well. So we have a really fun treat for you today. We are going to dig into the Amy Jones Group a bit, okay? And so this is going to be fun. We are joined today with a couple ladies on Mindy's team, and I'm going to let Mindy introduce them in just a moment. But this should be really fun because, they all kind of like to roast each other. So I don't know if we're going to get some roasting today or not. I'm kind of hoping we get at least one roast in here, ladies. So you have to live up to this a tiny bit. I don't know. But Mindy, why don't you tell us a little bit about these two lovely ladies that are joining us today?
Yeah, awesome. So I'm super excited to be back this week. Last week, we talked about a couple of really amazing agents in our community who made the choice to switch from a team environment into a solo agent practice. And we talked about some of the benefits they saw in making that move. And so today we want to talk about the team environment, the team culture, team accountability. And so I'm really excited to introduce two of the 7 agents on our team here at the Amy Jones Group. We have Isa Elcock down at the bottom. Isa, say hi. Isa joins our team. Hi, good morning. Isa joined our team with a very little baby in tow who is not so little anymore. And it's been awesome to watch Isa grow her career as a mom, now a wife, now a homeowner. And I'm really excited for her to share her journey with you today. And then we've also got Katie Whalen. Katie, say hello. Katie joined our team from another brokerage here in the Valley and actually had a cross deal with an agent on our team. And so she'll talk a little bit more about how that brought her into our team and where her business has gone since then. So I'm super excited to use our team as an example of what the team environment can offer agents today.
Wonderful. And ladies, thank you so much for taking the time to do this today, because I really feel this is just going to be such an amazing story. And I'm excited to hear this from both of you, and for everyone to hear it, because, there's so many folks in your, thinking, should I be part of a team, and what does that look like, and when is the time, and how do I get there? So I'm very excited to hear your stories. What I'd love to do is start with, and we can start with Isa or Katie, whichever wants to start, but why don't we start a little bit as, how did you end up on the team? How did you get there? What did that look like for you?
Well, I'll start, I guess. So I actually started out, I had just moved down here from Colorado. So when I moved here, I only knew my husband's family. That was it. I knew nobody else. I quickly turned around, got my real estate license, because I knew that's what I wanted to do here. And I started out at a smaller boutique brokerage as a solo agent. And I was there for a few months working part-time. I really enjoyed it, but I wasn't getting where I needed to go. I wasn't close to having any deals under contract. It just wasn't working out. So I actually met another agent at Keller Williams who introduced me to teams, because that really wasn't a thing in Colorado, so I wasn't aware of it. And I got in contact with Mindy, and we got together and talked it through, and it just seemed like such a good option for me, because they had all these tools, resources, database, they brought in leads, and it just seemed like a really good fit. So I ended up quitting. I was personal training at the same time, doing part-time real estate, part-time personal training. So I quit personal training, jumped in full-time real estate, just went after it. And within just a few months, I actually had my first 2 transaction close on the same exact day. So wow. It was a really quick turnaround, actually, after I joined the team. Yeah.
How exciting for you. And how exciting that you took that leap and really went in full force. And that's fantastic. I love it. Well, great story, Isa, and boy, how fortunate that Mindy got to meet you that day, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Katie. Let's talk a little bit about, how did you get to the Amy Jones team?
So kind of similar. I was also with a different brokerage, and when I was a new agent, I had hired a coach, and that was a fantastic experience, because you have a lot of questions when you're a real estate agent. Mm-hmm. And I thought, okay, once I was finished with the coach, I'm graduating from coaching, and I can start to do this on my own. And I had a transaction with Melanie on the Amy Jones group, and it was one of the smoothest transactions that I had the entire year on my own. Great communication. I got just so much information from her. We had some hiccups in the transaction, but I really liked that she kept both my clients and her clients together, and we really held the deal together. And it just made it's such a difference when you have someone who cares on the other side of the transaction. So for a year after that, I kept in touch with her, followed her on Facebook, got to see all the amazing things that the Amy Jones group does. And I really liked what they were doing. At the same time, I was alone as an agent, had to wait to call my broker, had to wait for them to call me back. And I felt silly asking so many questions, because I really wasn't ready. So fast forward, I start to do some research on a team. I interviewed a team at my local brokerage, or my previous brokerage. And the next morning I got an invite from Melanie and the Amy Jones group to meet them for coffee. And I was like, this is a sign. This was meant to be. I went to coffee with them that morning. All the women were amazing. And I just was like, okay, if you're hiring, I want to be a part of this, and signed up with them like within 24 hours, I think. Right, Mindy? Pretty much. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it was awesome with both of these women. I think, the important thing to remember, and we talked about this a little bit last week too, is that you can be successful in real estate in a million different ways, because success looks different to everybody, right? And people get into this industry for all reasons. I think, unfortunately, one of the primary reasons is it's just the fastest, cheapest way to become self-employed. And I think a lot of times people are just looking to be self-employed, especially for women. I think a lot of times the corporate sector has failed them in thinking that they can be both professionally and personally successful. And so they're looking for an alternative to that. And so I think they're drawn to real estate because it has a low barrier of entry. There's low risk in what they have to put into it. The problem is once they get into it, they often find that there's a need for community or culture or resources or support or security or all of these other components in order to be successful in the definition that they have for success. And so both of these women came to us with huge success factors already in place. And so it's been a really fun journey to help take them and what they do really well, combined with the support and the culture of the team, and see where they can go. I mean, it's been an awesome journey for me.
Well, and Mindy, honestly, this is kudos to you, because honestly, it starts with the leader on what this looks like for everyone on your team. And I want to talk culture a little bit, because here at Fidelity, we are very big on the culture of our company, and that's definitely the number one reason that our people work with the company is the culture. And that can make or break anybody in business, and how successful you are. Ladies, let's talk a little bit about how the culture of the group has really helped you and made an impact in your business.
Go ahead, Katie. You start, Katie.
Katie, you want to start on this one? Okay, go.
So, I mean, just with all our culture, I mean, the way that I take it is work hard, learn a lot, keep your clients and customers in focus, do everything that you can for them, all while having fun and giving back to the community. I think Mindy just lives and breathes it, and you can't help but let it affect you when you're part of the team, which is also part of why everybody loves to be on the team.
I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things I love is that we are an all women's team. So all of us are I think all of us are moms. I think everybody on the team now is moms. We're all moms. We all understand each other. I love that no matter what, I can go to anybody on the team for help. If I have questions about a listing, or I need some help with buyers, or if I just have any questions in general, they're more than happy to help. One of my favorite things is our group text. It has everything in there, from mom problems to real estate problems to just support. We congratulate each other on each closing or when we get under contract. Like another agent, Destiny, on our team just got our clients under contract yesterday, and it's just so exciting. Like, we love that. So it's just really awesome having such a big support system with the team, and being able to just share our little victories and share our challenges, and just have people there for you.
Right.
That group chat is our lifeline. It is literally the fastest way to get an answer. You can be physically at a property and have a question. I always, one of the things that's been really important to me about this team is that I was never a bottleneck to our success. And I think a lot of times when people start a team, it really all revolves around them. And I wanted to be sure that my team was able to be successful with me, not because I'm going to get, I'm not in their way. And so the group chat was invented out of this idea that let's get all of our brains together and be accessible on this group chat, so that when someone has a question, they're not necessarily only coming to me, they're going to the whole group. I'll always chime in, but that way, if I'm busy, if someone else has the answer, they can chime in. So we just know we don't respond if we don't know the answer. But other than that, we can give the support. And then beyond that, it's all the other things that are so important to me. It is massively important that the team is a safe space for the agents that are on it. That means we support each other, we're positive, we share our experiences, we're there for each other. And the folks that have been on the team have been really a part of that development, because everybody who comes wants that also, right? In addition to being coworkers and peers. Now, they're all different. They're all different ages. They have all different, things they like to do for fun. They're at different places in their lives. But the one string that runs through all of them is this idea that they want some connectedness. And I think that's what a lot of even team environments are missing, right? Because I think all teams operate a little bit differently. And for us, that group chat, it really is our lifeline for sure.
Mindy, I think that's a big part of why I've always respected the way that you run your business, because I agree with you 1,000,000% everything you just said, and even down to the group chat. I mean, we have that on our sales team too, and it's so important to have everyone feel like they're part of something bigger. I mean, yes, everyone on that team, technically, if they're out doing sales, they're competing for a sale, right? Not necessarily for the same listing or whatever, but they're still competing. Same thing with our sales team. They're all out there competing, but everyone would support each other on anything at any given time. And I think that is just, it is a culture that starts from the top with you, Mindy. And I love what you guys have going on there, and the energy and the synergy. And it's just very, very apparent with talking to Isa and Katie that's there, and I think a big part that individual agents, I want to talk a little bit about, an individual agent going from an individual agent to a team. Accountability is definitely something that is hard for a lot of folks to do, which is why a lot of people don't own their own businesses. Working for a company, you're kind of held accountable, and I love that there's accountabilities with you, Mindy, with your team as well. Let's talk about that. I don't know if you want to start at Mindy or if you want us to go straight to Isa and Katie, but let's talk about what the accountability looks like. I'm curious how it looks individually for them too, but what does it look like on a grander scale team-wise for you?
I'll give you my ideology, if you will, behind accountability, and then I'll let them kind of speak to what they have available to them. To me, accountability is not about putting your finger on somebody else's activities. And I think, unfortunately, we've added a negative connotation, if you will, around accountability, which comes across as micromanaging, or I want you to achieve my goals. And so in order to do that, I give you metrics so that I can gauge whether I'm going to be successful or not. And in my world, what accountability is I have a goal that I want to achieve. And in order to do that, I need people to help me get there. And there's ways that I can have people help me. If I have a health goal, for example, I can pay for accountability. So that means I sign up for a gym, or I sign up for a personal trainer. I have somewhere that I have to go to, a class or whatever it might be. I can find a peer group for accountability. So I can be, around other people who are healthy and who take care of their health. I can do it self-accountability. So I could set like incentives for myself, right? If I don't, eat anything bad the whole week, on Friday, I get to have a glass of wine or something like that. So accountability can look different for everybody, and it should, because it should motivate you to get to your goals, and somebody else can't design that accountability structure for you. And so it's been really important to me that my team sees accountability as me helping them get to their goals. They set their own goals. And I tell them this all the time. My goal for the team is an accumulation of their goals. So if I want to do more business or help more families than their roll-up goal, then I have to hire more agents, right? I'm not putting them into a goal category that's something I'm trying to achieve. I'm trying to let them set their goals, put accountability into place to let them know I'm here for their success. And then when they achieve those goals, then in turn, I'm successful in whatever we're trying to accomplish together. So that's my ideology on what accountability is for. And Amber, I'd love, once the girls kind of mention what they do, for you to chime in on this too, because I've learned a lot from you in terms of the beauty, really, of accountability. But Isa and Katie, if you guys want to kind of share what accountability you have on the team and how you take advantage of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, I completely agree with everything that Mindy said. For me, I got into real estate because I wanted to be in control of my own business, to be able to do what I wanted to do. Like she mentioned, I had a baby at the time, so I wanted to be able to take the time off if he was sick, or if we wanted to go out on vacation or do whatever. So I didn't want somebody to be there micromanaging everything that I was doing, creating these expected things from me that I just didn't want to do. So for me, the accountability comes in is, yes, again, having the women help me towards my goals, kind of encourage me to reach those goals, and just see how things are going. So I absolutely love that about the team, that there's no micromanaging or anything like that, and it's just a welcoming, happy environment that we're able to kind of motivate each other to go on. So I know on our team, some of the things that we do to help with accountability is we have team calls every morning on Mondays and Fridays. We start the week talking to each other, seeing how everything's going, checking in with any challenges, and we end the week with the same thing. Just make sure everything's going well, help each other with any problems that we're having. We have one-on-ones with our operations manager every other week to see what she can be doing to help us reach our goals. We also meet with Mindy every quarter, so she can just kind of check in how things are going as well. We have so many ways to keep each other accountable. And then of course, just every team member kind of being there to help support each other. So I really love that we have so many ways to keep each other accountable, but they're all in the way that we need. It's all based on what we are needing as individual agents. So
that's the way it should be. That's awesome. Love that.
Yeah.
Katie, how about you?
Well said. Yeah, I think the accountability and holding ourselves accountable, but being able to change, right? Our goals may change month to month, or something may come up. But there's always somebody on the team that has a new idea, a fresh idea. If something gets old, then we try something different. And then a lot of times it's just like Mindy this week reminded us, get back to basics. If you're not staying on your goals, then here are some of the back to basic things that we can be doing. So it's always a good reminder. And yeah, going over that with everybody on the team really keeps us focused on where we want to, where we're at now and where we want to be.
Yeah, that's awesome. Amber, I think we wanted to hear a little bit about your thoughts as well.
Yeah, I love accountability. I'm a big fan of being coached. I've been professionally coached for 9 years, and I know everything I'm supposed to be doing, right? We all know what we should be doing, but we all need those little like love whacks, from someone to say, hey, you're supposed to be calling this many people per week. Like, why aren't you doing it? Has your goal changed? Or are you just drifting? Because we're either drifting or we're driven. And a lot of times we don't know when we're drifting until someone like snaps us into it and goes, whoa, oh my gosh, I've been drifting for way too long. And in sales, if we drift for too long, our results suffer down the road to the point where it's like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize it, and now I have no deals. And then I feel like you have to work 10 times as hard to build it back up if you would have just kept the foot on the gas pedal. So I do talk to a lot of real estate agents, and some of them think of accountability as that micromanagement. I don't want this. I got in this business to be on my own. But that's because I don't think they've had the right kind of accountability. And the way that Mindy does it and Amy Jones Group does it, the way I do it with my team is what Mindy was saying, like, what are your goals? And I'm going to help hold you accountable to those because I care about you and I want to see you succeed, not because I'm going to manage you to make sure you're hitting my metrics or my goals. So the right kind of accountability is what I think catapults someone's success, and it's shown in the production that they're doing on the team. And that's one of the reasons that I love working with the team so much, is we're so unified in how we believe about goals and structure and disciplines that help us achieve what we want personally and professionally.
Yeah, and I love highlighting these things about teams because, a lot of times I'll get questions. Again, I think I meet with a lot of people. People say, I have someone who wants to get into real estate. Will you talk with them? And the first thing, like I shared at the beginning, that I hear is just really a desire to be self-employed versus real estate specifically. So we kind of try to dig into like, what is your why? What are you looking to accomplish? How much time do you have actually put into it? I mean, that's the first piece. But then we often will have conversations about, going with a team or an individual structure or whatever that might look like. And the things that we're talking about today, these are the deeper conversations that I want agents to start having when they're talking with teams, because these are really the components of choosing your environment that will determine whether you're successful or not. And I think these are often overlooked as sort of the core components of picking where you work. And I think one of the things that's beautiful that will come out of COVID is you're going to start having more of these conversations even in the corporate sector, because they're really going to be pushing the boundaries of the corporate sector to say, hey, I can do my job from anywhere, right? So, but then the question becomes, can we create a community of culture and accountability and support and this whole environment while people are working remotely versus just working virtually? So I think this is going to continue to be a conversation, and I'm proud that at the Amy Jones Group, we've kind of been in front of these conversations.
Yeah, no, that's great. And I honestly, what I've heard and from everyone speaking here, which I live and breathe this, I think that successful people want accountability. Okay. And, when you have somebody that's struggling with accountability, they really don't want it that bad. Okay, because we are a coaching company, just like you coach and everybody in your group there, Mindy. I mean, Amber does the same thing. We here at Fidelity, we're a coaching company. Everybody, including me, are coached, on a monthly basis. And it's not micromanage. It's called coaching. How are you doing? How are you getting to your goals? Is there anything you need help with? I mean, it's not, and that's what I think is the best part of being part of a real estate team, is the fact that you have a support system. You have somebody that wants it as bad as you do, and we'll have, and I want to talk about this a little bit, because when you're a solo agent, you wear every hat. Okay. So, everything, 15, 20, 25 things, there's like everything's you. So, Isa, let's start with you. How do you rely on the team because otherwise you'd have to do everything. So what does that look like for you, on being part of the team?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of my favorite things about the team is that we have a marketing director who takes care of all of our marketing, from social media to print material to blogs on our website. She takes care of it all. So I do not have to do the marketing, which is not something I'm great at. I got social media down, but that's about it.
Right.
Then we also have our transaction coordinator, who helps us once we get under contract, make sure everything is going according to plan, that we're not letting anything slip through the cracks. We have all our signatures and our initials and all of that's ready to go for closing. And all of those, they really help take a load off of me, because then I can be out in the community finding more families to work with, helping more people. The more time I'm spending on marketing or the documentation after it's under contract, or even going out and trying to find more things for us to do, it's not letting me do what I really want to do, which is help people and find more families to buy or sell or invest in real estate. So that's my personal favorite, is that we have people to help take care of things on the team. Love
that. Katie, how about you? What do you rely on most and feel is your biggest benefit there?
She said it really well. I mean, we have the transaction coordinator, our operations director is amazing. She coordinates things, the additional training, things that we maybe wouldn't have time to do, but Mindy and Sarah, our operations director, bring speakers in. If there's hot topics, they make sure that we're trained up on it. And then, like Isa said, just giving us time to be with our clients face to face, and letting some people, others do some of the paperwork and some of the background stuff. So we're there to help. She said it perfectly.
Yeah.
And we've added a few things. Yeah, we've added a few things this year. So we have a ISA team now that we've added to the team to help with some of the nurturing of folks that come into contact with us, but may not be immediately ready to do something. So, we always say it's never too early to get into contact with a real estate team, because there's so many conversations that we can have and strategies that we can put into place to help give you a timeline to achieve your goals with. And so while our agents are out, working with signing listing documents and helping families buy properties, we've got an additional team that we've added to the team this year to help with, ensuring we're not missing any of those conversations for people. We never want someone to raise their hand and for us to not be there to answer every question that they have. So we've added that this year. I obviously have committed to living what is a dream for me, which is to support our community through women in leadership events and nonprofit organizations that serve families. And so I commit as much of my time as I can to ensuring that our brand is aligned with that type of community support. And so I'm out doing a lot of those things so that our agents can stay focused and stay committed on our families. And so we're always evolving. We're always looking at, what programs do we spend money on? Where do our sponsorship dollars go? How can we bring more exposure to the team? How are we sure that we're being authentic in our brand? So it's something that our agents are proud of. We had a volunteer event a week ago at the House of Refuge. And there's some things that we do, I wouldn't call them mandatory, but I would say they're team events, where we're all expected to show up. This one was not one of those. It was kind of an on the fly. The House of Refuge needed us. And so we said, yes, we'll come. And literally our entire team were there. And it was like the greatest experience for me when you run a team that is so authentic to the people that are on it, that you can have these things that are not required to be there on top of being busy moms, busy professionals, and busy humans, and they all show up. And it's like, okay, we're doing the right thing. I get so much joy out of this team. And, back to the accountability piece, like they are my accountability. I think people know that I had a baby a couple of years ago. I had some medical issues earlier this year. I mean, there's always reasons to want to stay in bed or take it a little slow, and for me, I come to the office I'm in my office. I come to my office every day because of the team. They are my accountability. And it's just been so awesome to lead them. And I'm excited to bring more people who want to take their business to the next level and be in this kind of environment, to bring them into our family.
That's awesome. Well, and Mindy, you touched on several different things that I do want to dig a little deeper on with the ladies here. Let's talk a little bit about systems, okay? Systems and events, and some of the resources. We talked about the people, obviously, and having the transaction coordinator and the marketing department and all that. But what does that look like for you? And Katie, let's start with you. As far as the team goes, how do you what access do you have as far as the materials, the events, the tool resources there? Like, what does that look like for you?
Yeah, well, I mean, as a solo agent, because I was trying to do everything, I kind of focused on everything, but only halfway, right? Because you have only so much time in the day. And so with the Amy Jones group and so many people there supporting us, we can have more time for volunteering. We do events, yearly events. We have a pie event, which I would have not done on my own. We did a drive-in event in the spring, and it really gets you not only in front of your clients, but your teammates' clients. And you get to see the big picture of how we have helped so many families and what we were able to do. So for me, that's just one of the best things. I mean, we have CRMs. I mean, there's a lot of other things that we do, but getting to see how many families we have impacted just as a group was really the most memorous thing for me. Nice.
I love that. Good. Isa, how about you? What's that look like in your world?
Yeah, so what I love is that the team kind of really handles all of the business expenses, typical business expenses. So it's really helpful that when I came into the team, they already had all these programs set up, systems in place. We have a CRM, we do print advertising, online advertising. They have all sorts. We in the print, we are in a couple different magazines across the valley. Like, they have all of these things that were already in place that I did not have to start over and try and figure out on my own and figure out which one is the best program or the best whatever for anything. We have so many things. I don't even know if I can name them all, but it's amazing that I came into the team with all of this in place and I didn't have to figure it out on my own. I just had to learn it and then get going and really, really get after trying to help all those clients out in the community. That was really my main focus. So there's just so many things in place already. That was so wonderful.
Well, and you said it perfectly. The systems that the teams have in place, and specifically the Jones Group here, is so important for success in business. And I think a lot of folks kind of discount that a bit and not realize that that's the great part of being part of an amazing team is all of those resources are now your resources available to you. All those systems that they took the time to set up, train, pay for, make sure it's running the right way for the business. It's already there for you. And I think that's so great. And I love that you guys are so excited about everything that Mindy has put forth with the team as far as the systems and events. And we know we're part of all the events, so we know how great the events are. And I agree with you, Katie. I mean, that's just so fun and energy. There's so much energy when you're there with so many people at the same time and all being excited about being there and being part of something bigger. So very, very good. I want to talk a little bit about you ladies individually, and how has being part of this team really changed your life, personally and professionally. And I'd love to just hear a little bit about that, and what that looks like moving forward, maybe for you as well. Isa, do you want to start with that one?
Yeah, absolutely. So as I've mentioned a couple of times, when I moved down here, we actually were living with my in-laws. We had a small baby. We were fresh out of college. So really, like, we were just starting our like adult lives with our child. And so joining the team really was able to help us really launch us into adulthood. Like we bought a house. We have done lots of work to the house. We have been able to take trips that we never expected to. We were able to pay for our wedding. We were able to do all of these things. Like, the last few years have just been incredible for us because I was able to join the team and really just launch my business and get it going. So personally, it's been phenomenal. And then of course, professionally, as soon as I joined, I had my first 2 under contract and closed within a few months. And then my business has just kept growing from there. Every year I'm closing more and more and helping more and more families with their real estate needs. And I love that. I love being able to help other families also buy their first home or finally move up to their second home that they've been working so hard to save the money to move up in life. And it's just been so cool to be able to be a part of all of that. So I just love it.
Well, and Isa, I love your energy. It's electric, and I'm sure all the folks that are around you when you're showing them homes or listing their homes feel that energy as well. And success comes, builds confidence when you have those successes. And I love that you're able to get those quick and really get your confidence up. So
thank you so
great
much.
job. That's awesome. Katie, how about you?
Yeah. So, I have learned so much from being a solo agent where I did maybe 8 transactions on my own. I have significantly increased the transactions, we'll just say that. But with those transactions and the support that we have, you learn every time, because every transaction is just a little bit different. So just through the growth in transactions and listening to people talk, I don't think I could have, as a solo agent, learned what I've learned in this last year and a half in 10 years if I were doing it on my own. So you just learn so much more when you're on a team and when you get this type of experience. And then I don't think I told you, I joined the team right before our lockdown with COVID last year.
Wow.
So I went from, probably if I had been a solo agent, probably I wouldn't have known, okay, what does this mean? What does this look like? Mindy immediately got the team on 2 huddles a day, 5 days a week, where we were on in the morning and the afternoon. So it kept our momentum going. So we didn't skip a beat when the market changed. And we continuously talk about how it's changing for us now, and she keeps adjusting. So for me professionally, that just means I didn't sit back where I think a lot of solo agents probably did, at least in the beginning last year when everything started to change. And then personally, the support for the team, I had some family stuff that happened last month, and I had to go away for about a month. And I was able to do that because the women on the team all stepped up. All of my clients still got their keys, their signings, their walkthroughs. They knew I was on a team. The girls, all the women stepped in and helped. And that meant a lot for me and my family. If I was a solo agent, I probably couldn't have been on the East Coast for as long as I was there. And certainly my business would have suffered as well. So personally and professionally, I just am so thankful to be on this team and have everybody on the team with me.
Wow, Katie, what an incredible journey to start off, right? Well, everything happens for a reason, and timing sometimes is everything. So,
COVID really gave us a lot of clarity around who we were and what was important to us. As a leader, my journey is an evolution. I don't claim to know how to do things the right way. I can only say that I am trying 110% to make an impact on those around me. And I feel a great responsibility for the people that align their business with mine. And I am committed to showing up for them. And that means trying to always be a few steps ahead of what's happening, whether it's in the market or in the case of COVID, the world. And my instinct when COVID hit was just that we needed to bond as closely as we could to navigate the waters together. You know, at the time, so many people had kids at home, and I was like, I don't care if you haven't showered in 3 days. I don't care if you've got kids on your back in these huddles, but I want to see everybody and I want to be on it. And we're going to talk about business. We're going to talk about personal, and we're going to talk about your mental health. And we're going to talk about how we're going to make it through day to day to day and make sure that not only we're okay, our community is okay, our clients are okay. And honestly, you know, I always stop short of saying there's a silver lining, because I don't believe that there's a silver lining to people's tragedy. But the growth in our team as humans, as women, as professionals, as peers in the last year, I can't even measure, and I cannot explain to you how grateful I am for them.
Yeah. Well, that says so much. And it's that support that took place last year that really, you know, built such a solid team. And I love that, Mindy. That's phenomenal. Ladies, I have one last question for you that I'd love to navigate before we get on to hear about our free money going on here in today's world. So question for you. One thing I love is how much you guys participate in the nonprofits and the charity things that you do as a team. It really is a great feeding of your soul. And I you know, it's one thing I love about Miss Jones sitting on here as well, meaning Miss Dena Jones, because I have two Jones. I just realized with Mindy and Dena, but with Dena, you know, joining our team, when Dena came on, I mean, she was involved in so many charities and so many things. And I'm like, wow, I mean, it was just helping people. And it brought on such an incredible energy within our team as well in the philanthropic world. So, Katie, why don't you tell us what's your favorite one that you guys do or have done or are involved in as far as nonprofit goes?
I think, there's two that stand out, but I know one that we partnered with Fidelity with, which was our I Can event. I never want to have to build furniture again. And you don't want me building any more furniture again. But that, for me, it was a lot of fun to see that through start to finish, and just everybody was there networking, but also coming together to help the community. And I love seeing the before and afters, and just minus the furniture building part. I really love that one.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's great. No more hammers for you, right?
Right. Yeah. Okay. Was better than you.
Yeah.
One of my favorite, and Mindy maybe can help me, I'm totally blanking on the name of this organization, but the one that we did for Red Day with Olive Keller-Williams,
when we were at Jacob's Mission.
Yes, Jacob's Mission. I was like on the tip of my tongue. So we went to Jacob's Mission with Olive Keller-Williams for Red Day, and we were able to put together food boxes for foster families who were in need and just needed some food. And I really loved that one because we were able to impact so many families who needed that. I can't remember the exact number of boxes we gave out, but I think it was like 70 boxes. Yeah, there was about 70 boxes we were able to hand out. And there were actually a couple of families who couldn't make it. One of them, their car broke down the morning of, so they couldn't come, and they were super upset. So I actually went and took that box to them out, and I think it was Tempe. It was a ways away, but it was just so cool to be able to see that impact. And she was so excited when I showed up with a box of food for her at her door. So just being able to help those families, I love that. I love that so much. That was one of my favorites that we've done so far. And my other one was the I Can one that you mentioned, Katie.
Awesome. Well, that's so great. And boy, I'll tell you, putting out there all positive and wonderful things, that's some good karma coming back to you ladies, being part of all this too. So I just want to personally thank you, Mindy, for bringing these incredible ladies here with us today to share their stories and what this looks like. I love the conversation of the teams and and the benefits of being part of teams, because it's so strong, and it builds such an amazing career for so many people. So Isa, Katie, thank you so much. You can hang with us here. We're going to finish up with a mortgage update and hear a little bit about the market update from Mindy as well. Thank you again for joining us today and sharing your stories. Appreciate that. Amber, tell me, what is going on in money? Tell me where we're at today and what this looks like coming up here.
Well, as of right now, the free money is getting a little bit more free, if that's a thing. So interest rates, we've seen them drop a little bit. There's just been some news coming out that have caused investors to kind of flee the stock market, putting more money into the bond market. So we've seen interest rates drop. On a purchase now, we're probably in like the high 2s, depending on someone's situation. So we're about, that's awesome, Dena, an eighth to 0.25% lower than we were. Questions on, where that's going to go. We'll probably see some fluctuations, but next week is a big news week. We're going to see an inflation report come out. We're going to want to see that inflation is cooling. We could still see a couple months of inflation being hot, but if what some of these analysts are believing are true, there'll be maybe a couple more months of some higher inflation and starting to see it cool down as we realize maybe the economy isn't recovering quite as much as we thought. If that's the case, we'll probably see these low interest rates continue. And then last year, in kind of the heat of our refinance boom, there was an announcement that there was what we call an adverse market fee on refinances. You might remember it was like literally overnight they imposed a 50 basis point adjustment, causing all refinance interest rates to go up or be cost an extra 0.5% more. That just was removed. So as of yesterday, that is no longer a thing, and that means all rates on refinances have been improved by that 50 basis points just due to that being removed. So there's still a lot of refinance opportunity out there, especially for clients who are in a mortgage insurance situation, who have seen property values increase so greatly that could benefit from potentially a lower interest rate and a reduction or removal of mortgage insurance. So lots of good stuff happening out there in the money world. We'll stay tuned next week to see how the inflation reports look, to see if we continue to see the money get a little bit cheaper.
Oh, wow. I can't even believe you just put a 2 back in the front of that.
I know.
And you know what's so great about this is with and I know Mindy's going to talk about this, but with the prices of homes going up so dramatically, having these interest rates being where they're at is vital for some folks to get into a house, that they can afford. So, wow, that's great. Well, that's awesome news. Dawn's going to be so bummed that I got to be the host of the show the day you're saying we're back in a 2 and now you dropped money freer for us.
Yeah. Super
I'm gonna
crazy.
relish in this, just so you know. This will be fun for the next week. Amber, thank you. That's
You're welcome.
Great news. Thanks so much. Always a great update from you, and you're so in tune to what's going on in the money world, and having a mortgage partner like Amber in your world is so important. So important, because guys, not every lender is the same. Not every loan officer is the same out there. Please don't think they are. You should be asking the right questions. Ask them, what's the most creative things you've done lately for clients. Ask some of these questions that, Amber can answer those like bam, bam, bam. Here's what I did. We didn't think we were going to get someone in, and this is what we had to do. So
thank you. I appreciate that very much.
Yeah,
thank you.
Great partner. So, all right. Well, Mindy, let's talk about inventory a bit. And where are we at?
Yeah, so I would echo the sentiments of Sharon. Not only is Amber a great partner, and we're so proud to be in business with her, but also the idea that you really need to feel comfortable asking these types of questions of your lender partner. Amber and I talk and we strategize together all of the time. And you're right, not all lenders are as in tune with the overall real estate market in the way that Amber and her team are. And so it is very important to ask questions like, what do you see happening in the market? How do you respond to what's happening in the market? What things are you doing differently than other people to respond to the market? I have asked lenders these questions before and have gotten blank stares from them or a mask back. well, what do you mean exactly? Or, or they give me some vague answer about what's happening in the real estate market, something that I could have found if I Googled, on a national news source, versus I know, very well what's happening in the local market. So I think the message is twofold. One, stay in tune yourself with what's happening in the real estate market, so that two, you can ask the right questions and know if the person is also in tune. So I think those are great suggestions, Sharon. From an inventory perspective, I actually think that right now is probably one of the best times for our buyers and our sellers to get into the market that it has been all year. And I'll tell you why that is. With more inventory coming to the market, in fact, in the range between $400,000 and $800,000, we have gained 95% inventory just since the beginning of March. So we have made massive gains since the earlier part of the year. We now have more opportunities, not only for our buyers, but for what those buyers often are one step before their buyers, which is sellers. And so our greatest challenge with sellers this year has not been, hey, we can make you a lot of money. Did you know that, right? They are well aware of what's happening in the market and what a premium they can charge for their properties. But the challenge has been that they have been concerned that they don't have anywhere to go. And so the beauty of the market right now is that you have not lost a penny of your equity as the market shifts to one that has a little bit more inventory in it, but you can sell without all of the stressors that your peers have had from the first 6 months of the year. And so this is a very pivotal time for both our buyers and sellers, and the opportunity to get back in the market for our buyers who have been overwhelmed by the stressful environment to purchasing. This is now the first time that we've got a little bit of wiggle room, which is really a benefit for both parties. We've closed several properties through the year, so our comps are higher. We're not having as many of the appraisal challenges as we had in the first and the beginning of the second quarter, which is a beautiful thing for both buyers and sellers. Sellers, because buyers are not offering as often those full appraisal waivers. We're seeing a lot more waivers with caps on them. And so for sellers, obviously we want to reduce as much of the risk as we can going to market. So those higher comps being closed are a huge benefit for them. And we continue to see prices rise. They're just not rising simply as fast as they were before. So we peaked at about a monthly percentage increase of 5%, which is a wild percentage rate for a single month. We slowed down the pace to about 3%. And then if we look month over month, we're at about 1.5%, which still annualized is between 12 and 15% as you fluctuate in the third and fourth quarters. So certainly no bad news for sellers or for buyers. I have a feeling that after the temperatures this summer start to cool down a bit and some families are back from the first time that they've been able to take vacations in over a year. So I think this is the first season that we're seeing some actual seasonality on top of an increase in inventory come to the market. I think your September, October, and November timeframes are going to be quite busy for the real estate industry. I think our buyers and our sellers are going to be happy that they have a little more wiggle room. Our agents have learned quite a bit about how to negotiate, how to keep buyer and seller expectations together throughout this very challenging, competitive year. And I think you're going to see a lot of really happy families be able to make some really good deals in the September, October, and November timeframe. So while we've gained quite a bit of inventory and still now only have about 25% less inventory than we had year over year, so we've shored up that gap quite a bit. I have a feeling that we're going to see demand pick up in the end of the third and the beginning of the fourth quarter. That's probably going to push out those balanced market timelines just a little bit. So we'll see. We certainly can't project much further out than that, because certainly if that demand does not return, the pace at which new listings are coming to market could hit a more balanced market even before the end of the year. So it's very important that you're staying very close to the market. And if that sounds too challenging, then get yourself a team like the Amy Jones Group and they will do it for you.
Very well said. And I think this is a great time for everyone to circle back around with those buyers that, sellers that didn't want to list because they didn't have nowhere to buy. Great time to circle with those people. it was interesting. I've had multiple conversations this week with agents telling me that, they put 2 listings on over the weekend, and I was with them on Monday afternoon, and they're like, I can't even believe I didn't get an offer on either one. So we're definitely seeing some changes there,
Yes. And a lot of that is coming from agents not really having expertise in how to price in a shifting market. And I think what we need to, we need to understand that you've got to stay so close. And that's the benefit also of working with a team who sees so much production, is that we can really feel things as they're happening too. But instead of listing a house $60,000 or $70,000 higher than the neighbor to account for that 5% appreciation in a month, we're really looking at a more similar price point to what the neighbors have done. And if the market momentum is still in your neighborhood, then the buyers will still push it up over asking. And so we're changing the pricing strategy as the conditions in the market are changing. And because of that, the days on market is not really going up quite yet. So that's another indicator that we'll kind of watch to see how things are going in the market.
Yeah, no, I agree. People are maybe not wanting to put those crazy offers in, and they're, we're gonna have to price accordingly, right? A little bit for that. So, well put. All right, well, great. Well, let's talk about, we just have a few minutes left. Let's just circle around on any events. Mindy, do you have anything coming up that you want to mention?
So let's see. I don't think we've got any that are coming up here in the next couple of weeks or so. I do know that we're putting together a really exciting event with Fidelity that I'm going to be excited to share some more details about, but we're looking to bring some amazing female real estate rock stars to a live panel where we can talk about success in all things personal and professional in a beautiful venue. And so I'm excited to see that one come together here soon.
Yeah, we'll be talking about that, I think, quite a bit for the next month or so leading up to it. So that'll be fun. Amber, anything in your world that you want to mention?
Yeah, for our real estate agents out there, on Friday, April 6th, we're going to do an in-person class at my office with Jay Josephs, who's the chief appraiser at our appraisal management company. He's been in our market for a long time, is super knowledgeable. Lots of questions right now about appraisals with what the values have been doing. How are they comping them? How do I make sure that I'm pricing appropriately? So if you have questions for an appraiser, we'd love to see you attend that event.
Well, and Jay is great, and he is always full of really good information. So that is definitely a do not miss event to hear him speak. So awesome. Dena, we just went back live this week with the Phoenix RIA. Do you want to touch on a couple highlights on that real quick? And anything else?
It was actually super fun. So we are back live in person the third Tuesday of every single month. Mindy was there with us this week, and we had a lot of new faces. So it was really fun to see people getting together and being excited about the networking component. And we'll be back the third Tuesday in August, which I believe is the 17th. So DM any of us if you want the link to get yourself registered. Templeton Walker is going to be our featured speaker next month, and definitely looking forward to that. And we also have our new home showcase that is staying virtual, fourth Wednesday of every month at 10 a.m. on Facebook Live as well. So that is next week.
Well, and what a great way to keep in touch. I love the new homes happening. So to keep in touch with what's going on in that new home building world. And some of the folks we have on there, some of the ones you may not be aware of, some newer ones coming on board, or they've been around, they're just maybe more boutique. So really a great event. Dena, the Phoenix RIA is continuing at Grimaldi's. Is that the next month?
For next month, yes.
Okay. And that is by RSVP only. So Please get with your Fidelity sales executive. You definitely have to have an RSVP for that, as we are still controlling how many folks are there.
And Mindy? I just have to say one thing. I was the only non-Fidelity female in the building. Wow. So my challenge is that if there are women out there that are looking to invest in real estate, they're looking to lead their real estate clients in investment purchases. They're looking to learn more about the investing space. I really would encourage you to get in tune with this group. The content is amazing. The people there are so open and welcoming and inviting. I really want to see more women in this space. I think there is a preconceived notion of what investing has to look or feel like. I'm closing on another rental property tomorrow. So women, you can invest too if you're not doing this already. And you can talk with your clients about what investing looks like. So I would love to not be the only female in the room in a month.
I'll join you next time.
Yay! There we go.
That's great. No, Mindy, you're 100% right. I think a lot of people think it's a man's world on the investment world, and it's not, because every one of you have a database that I guarantee you have people in your database that would love to buy an investment property. You just don't know it because you probably may not have asked the question, and they may be using somebody else to buy their investments if you're not talking about it. So please join us, Phoenix RIA, great event, always great content, and hosted by Dena Jones and Chris Simon with Sell Wholesale Homes, and Chris's knowledge in the industry and how many homes he's bought is incredible. So join us there. Everyone, I just want to say thank you for an incredible Market of the Moment and for being so supportive of me on hosting you here today. Loved hearing everything. Katie, Isa, congratulations to you on all your successes and your future successes, and appreciate you both being here very, very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us.
You bet. Absolutely. Amber, as always, thank you for the incredible update on mortgage always. And Mindy, you're just like my little co-host today. I love it. And the market update, appreciate it. And Dena, thank you for making us be able to go live today and being here and always supporting everything we do. Dena is the most amazing director of marketing here at Fidelity and supports every one of you every day. You just may not realize to what level. So everyone, make it a great day and stay cool out there and out of the rain if it starts raining. I don't know. We'll see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye.